Welcome back to the Aquarius Samples video series. My name is Dave Gilby. In this Aquarius Samples video, we'll see how to centrally configure, access, and search all the details, results, and standards for your monitoring locations or sample sites. You'll see just how easy it can be to manage your monitoring network. Let's take a look at locations in Aquarius Samples. Alright, let's take a look at locations. Locations are certainly important in environmental data. Nothing has context, or not much is going to have context without some spatial component to it. So this is where the spatial components of your sampling are going to be managed. So let's take a quick look at our list. Just like the observation screen and the project screen, we have a search box, and let's look for some sites. I'm going to start typing in the first two letters of some sites that I know start with the letters S and Q. And from that comes up a whole list of locations that are in our case, in New Zealand. Now you'll notice that on the screen we have things like the identification number, the type of site, the country that the station is in, and maybe even a state or province for. Let's dig deep and see where some of this information resides and what information is contained in each location. Let's look at Warrapo Creek at the bridge. You'll notice right off the bat we have some similar features we've had on previous pages, and I'm just going to unfold the details, the standards that are associated with this site, the attachments that are associated with this site, and even the change history. Our user experiences developers have put these menu items here with accordion features, so you can fold up and fold down the details that you're not necessarily using every time. But certainly we have things like location ID. Each location requires its own unique identification number. There's a name for each site, a unique name. Latitude and longitude. These latitudes and longitudes are in decimal degrees. You'll notice in the details area of the location page, we have different location types. This list, like the other lists we spoke of earlier in this video, can be configured to your business's or your organization's needs. So if you have different location types that you'd like to see in this list, we can certainly help you configure those. We also have the ability to add a comment about each site. This may include something about the access to the site or a history that needs to be brought in. Country, state, county information, datum information, so on and so forth. Let's fold up the details portion and let's look at the data. This is also where you can get a summary of, at each location, how many individual results have been added to the system, how many field visits have been performed at the site, and the date of the last field visit. You can even start from the location point to add a field visit at this point. And we'll talk about field visits in just a moment. Lastly, but certainly not least important, this is a very important feature to many of the users of Aquarius Samples: standards. Standards are basically thresholds that allow you as the user to define a threshold of a numeric value. When that data comes in the system, if a value is below, above, or in between two values, you can set those standards to evaluate your data upon entry into the system. Like most locations, you're going to have more than just data. You want to have things like data that you can access about photos or scanned field measurements. Let's save this page and I'll show you what that looks like. Once we go down to the attachments, you'll notice that I can actually click on a value. And what that's going to do is that's going to bring up the actual picture from the database. So in this case, this is a nice rainbow trout here that was caught by somebody near Warrapo Creek. So obviously you could store things like site photos or access photos, whatever you needed. Okay, let's take a look at another photo here, just for example. Sometimes these are very helpful when you're trying to access the site or take a picture of actually where you've collected a sample. That concludes our overview of how to manage your monitoring locations in Aquarius Samples. To learn more, watch our next video on how to schedule and track your fieldwork, or book a consultation with our experts today. Thanks for watching.